The following program is made possible in part by the American Legion Auxiliary Department of Arizona and the West Valley Foundation, celebrating diversity.
Joanna Sweat. I am a United States Marine Corps veteran. I am proud of my service.
Marine veteran Joanna Sweat was 17, just out of high school when she enlisted in the United States Marines as a field radio operator. Her goal was to retire as a Marine, but after 9 years, for medical reasons, she was unable to continue her military service. She understands the challenges veterans face as they try to adjust to a new way of life.
And then when that kind of just didn't work out for me anymore, it's just bye, see you later, in just a quick breath, and you lose everything. It's not work. This is what people don't understand. People don't join the service, and it's not just they just join to go to a job and to work. It's everything about you. It's your lifestyle. It's your family. It's your friends, your enemies, all wrapped into a 360 lifestyle that you just lose one day. It's like you're banished. And it's not like they forget about you, but the military machine's got to keep moving. And it's easy to then feel like you have nothing anymore.
Joanna believes that too often we prepare our men and women to serve, to defend our freedom, to be proud. But we don't prepare them to become civilians. Many, she says, get a raw deal.
I reintegrated into the civilian market during the downturn of the economy between 2007 and 2010. So it was very difficult for me. Because of the environment I came from, I didn't connect well to the community that I was returning. I also returned to a community that I wasn't familiar with. So I had a lot of learning curves and mistakes that I made. And through that journey, when I finally came out on the other side, I decided that my purpose was to ensure that no other veteran would have to go through any of those missteps, or that they could have and find someone like me to be a beacon of support and hope.
I'm very honored and pleased that you've joined us today to learn a little bit more about the 4-Block program.
On this day, Joanna Sweat, as the associate instructor for the 4-Block organization, was helping others understand why veterans need support when they become civilians.
To me, I think it's a disservice to say, well, I got to vet a job. That's a win. Well, is it a job that vet wanted? Does that job fill that veteran's passion, purpose, and desire so that they can continue to move forward in all facets of their life? I want veterans to be enriched, and they have great skill sets, they're great community members, and they have this service mentality that you don't find in the civilian market. But if we don't tap into it, they can't utilize it. So 4-Block really kind of gives back those confidences, educates them on the tools, how to use those tools and maximize them to live your best life.
Marine veteran Joanna Sweat has come to understand the value of an education, community involvement, networking, and hopes her experiences will help other veterans find their place in the civilian world.
When I finally recognized that life was more about going to work, and it was about the impact that you can have on the people you meet, the community that you immerse in, it took me right back to when I was a Marine. And I said, this was always in me. And now I just have to figure out how to manifest it now in the civilian market. And now I finally figured that out, and I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that I had the raw deal, right? Because then now I'm gonna be a person, instead of saying, like our parents did, oh, I walked 30 miles to school in the snow. Who cares if you have to walk a mile? I do. If I walk 30 miles, I wanna make sure you walk 0 miles. That's how we bring people along. We don't say, hey, I had it hard, so let me make it harder for you. That's not how we advance society. what we do is we just try to make it better for everyone. And it starts with being kind to yourself, and then you can be kind outwardly. That's the space I'm in now, and I love it. And I'm gonna do everything I can to ensure that every veteran that leaves the service feels like it's a new opportunity to do great things instead of being fearful of what's next.
My name is Daniel Sanchez. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I served 14 years overseas. I served in Vietnam, military advisor. From Vietnam, I didn't come home. From Vietnam, I went straight to Utapao, Thailand to support Operation Linebacker 2. That was the heavy bombing of North Vietnam. I remember when I was in Vietnam, I was to see the B-52s flying over. Now here I was at Utapao, Thailand, where the planes are taking off from. But I enjoyed the military. It was good. It was an experience. And would I do it again? Yes.
In 1975, while stationed in Spain, retired Master Sergeant Daniel Sanchez was introduced to what some consider the hobby of kings, collecting stamps.
The hobby of stamp collecting was in 1975 when we were stationed at Torrejon Air Base, Spain. And there was an art show, hobby fair. And me, my wife, and my two daughters went to it, and I seen some stamps and just looking at them, and there were coins right next to the stamps, and I had a coin collection when I was a kid, and I didn't really see the beauty into the collection of coins, but when I seen the stamp, I started, and I remember the stamps when I was younger, when I was writing letters back and forth, and I really started looking at them, that all the stamps are completely different, and they have a lot of history in the stamps. When I first started, I had no idea where it would take me. I started collecting them. And once I came back from Spain and got stationed in Arizona, we were in Arizona for a short time, then I went back overseas to Alaska. And there's where I really, really got into the different ways of collecting, the different books that they had. I started seeing the catalogs. And there I was at a stamp dealer where I can actually buy. And I started going once a month, buying little by little. Sometimes they had, good sales, a bundle of brand new stamps for a good price, and, I was young, didn't know what I was really doing, but I was learning.
Sanchez sees the historical and cultural value of stamps.
What inspired me is the beauty of the stamp, and then the different people, the different cultures, the history that's on these stamps. We have the United States collection. I have United States, the Latinos that are on stamps, the African Americans that are on stamps. I have the Native Americans that are on stamps, and they're all separate collections. They're all United States, but they're in 5 different books. I also have a set of United States of just women. And it's amazing how much history there are on these stamps. If a person sits down and just read about the person that's on that stamp. That's why I found out a lot of the history about Latinos is reading. There were 3 stamps issued for the Pony Express writers. A lot of the history of the Hispanics that are on stamps. All the music entertainers, there's a lot of music entertainers. Salinas on the stamp, Tito Puentes, Carmen Miranda, Cecilia Cruz, politicians, Dennis Chavez is on a stamp. It's telling me that, this is our history, this is where our forefathers came from with their reasons of doing certain things in their lifetime. And they're being recognized on stamps, and stamps has a lot of history behind them. Not just the people, but our cultures on there. The Cinco de Mayo is on a stamp. Mendes versus Westminster is on a stamp. So there's not just individuals on a stamp, but our culture is on a stamp. The Cinco de Mayo is on a stamp. So our history is on stamps, not just why is this person on the stamp? But Selena, her history, her background, starting as a singer from a little girl to where she became fame, and she was recognized on a stamp. That Hispanic stamp is the remembrance of Latinos of all the 5 branches of the military: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard. And on that stamp are all 5 branches of the military, including women, and they're all Latinos. In the back of the stamp is a little boy and little girl, which will be the future military leaders that are yet to come. Our culture, Latinos have been in the military from the beginning. Before the Civil War, Latinos have been fighting for our country. It doesn't matter what war we look into, Latinos have been involved in every war.
You're watching the Veterans Business Journey, where we celebrate the achievements of veterans. Would you like to share your story? Drop us a note at vetsbizjourney@gmail.com.
My name is Yolanda Bonilla. I am the president of the American Legion Auxiliary here in Arizona. I'm serving for the year 2017-2018. Our mission is to support the American Legion by honoring the sacrifice of those who served, by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. We advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor youth, promote good citizenship, Americanism, peace, and security.
Today, more than ever before, women are on the front lines of America's defense. These brave women struggle and sacrifice to help keep our country secure. They deserve to be recognized for their service as guardians of freedom. Please support the American Legion's efforts to serve the growing number of women veterans. Go to legion.org/honor-veterans to find out how you can help.
Buffalo soldiers, fighting men, rode for the army to clean up the land. Nobody messed with the 9th and the 10th, from the Kansas plains to the Rio Grande.
Master Sergeant Phil Lee, United States Air Force, 24 years. Currently, I'm retired and loving life. A member of the Buffalo Soldier for the past 3 years. Love what the organization do as far as the community, educating them on the history of the Buffalo Soldiers.
I'm Chaz Jackson, President of the Buffalo Soldiers of America. The Buffalo Soldiers were founded in 1866 by the United States Congress after the Civil War. All of your white troops were in the Civil War, so were black troops, but most of the black troops did not have anywhere to go after the Civil War. The Native Americans had taken back their territories during the Civil War. They needed somebody to go out there and try to keep the Native Americans under control and protect settlers. The Buffalo Soldiers knew how to fight, so they founded 40,000 Buffalo Soldiers, 9th and 10th Cav and 24th and 25th Infantry, and sent them out west to fight. Most of the Native Americans had never seen black soldiers before. And the Buffalo Soldiers had a reputation for being fierce fighters because they had fought in the Civil War. The Cheyenne and Sioux Indians were being chased relentlessly by the Buffalo Soldiers, so the Cheyenne started calling them Buffalo Soldiers. Well, the Buffalo Soldiers thought that was demeaning since everybody ate buffaloes, used their fur for fur coats and everything, but what they didn't understand was that the buffalo bull is a fierce fighter.
My name is Arthur Thomas. I'm a proud veteran. I was served in the Navy, South China Sea, Guam, and I did 2 Westpacs, which covers the complete Pacific area. Japan, Hong Kong, Philippines, all those areas. I was on a destroyer tender. We repaired destroyers that served in the brown water in Vietnam.
We just go to all the schools. We've been to 60 schools, 10 colleges in the past 9 years, talking about the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. The Buffalo Soldiers received 19 Medals of Honor. We also had one woman named Kathy Williams. She passed as a man. She was 5'9" from 1866 to 1868, and she was awarded a honorable discharge because it didn't say women could not serve.
Master Sergeant Phil Lee, and I'm a proud Air Force veteran.
My name is Chaz Jackson. I served in the United States Army for 6 years, and I am a proud veteran.
Arthur Thomas, Navy. I'm a proud veteran.
My name is Marvin Lambert, U.S. Marine Corps. I'm a proud veteran.
For paying the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, the Medal of Honor, the most prestigious award one can get in the military for above and beyond the call of duty. Hi, my name is Richard Cochran. I'm the Executive Director of the Hispanic Heritage of the Congressional Medal of Honor. We're here at Glendale Community College on this fine, beautiful day here in Arizona, and represented here on our display is 5 Medal of Honor recipients, one of which case is Jose Jimenez. Jose was a Vietnam veteran. He gave and sacrificed his life for the United States. His mama worked at the Mexican consulate here in Phoenix, Arizona. And when he passed away, his mama wanted him to be brought back up here to be buried here in Glendale, Arizona. When he joined the United States Marine Corps, he wanted to fight for our country because the United States took care of his family so much that he wanted to fight for us. Unfortunately, Mexico at that particular time didn't see that fight as a war. They looked at him as a mercenary. He was buried in a potter's grave, more or less, with his name and just a round circle on the top, not even a headstone. For 17 years, his mom had his headstone underneath her own bed because they wouldn't allow that headstone to be put down there. After years upon years to get his ashes brought back up here to the United States, 48 years later, he was laid to rest in Glendale, Arizona, with full military honors for paying the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. The Medal of Honor, the most prestigious award one can get in the military for above and beyond the call of duty.
You're watching the Veterans Business Journey, where we celebrate the achievements of veterans. Would you like to share your story? Drop us a note at vetsbizjourney@gmail.com.
My name is Yolanda Bonilla. I am the president of the American Legion Auxiliary here in Arizona. I'm serving for the year 2017-2018. Our mission is to support the American Legion by honoring the sacrifice of those who serve, by enhancing the lives of our veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. We advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor youth, promote good citizenship, Americanism, peace, and security.
Today, more than ever before, women are on the front lines of America's defense. These brave women struggle and sacrifice to help keep our country secure. They deserve to be recognized for their service as guardians of freedom. Please support the American Legion's efforts to serve the growing number of women veterans. Go to legion.org/honor-veterans to find out how you can help.
The nation is having some difficulties in a few things. Finding housing for single-parent families. So whether it's, the majority of them are women, but there are male single household. And so we want to make sure that there is housing available for those families. And right now, in Arizona, there is a gap, and nationwide, there is a gap. And so we need to really focus on how we can get housing and some portion of affordable housing dedicated to veterans with families that are single-head household.
It's part of the warrior ethos for American service members that we never leave anybody behind on the battlefield. And I believe very strongly that that should carry over to when people return from their service, and we shouldn't leave any veteran behind here, particularly when they're in need of help, whether it's behavioral help, whether it's economic help, whether it's housing help. And so as a fellow veteran, I'm grateful for what's being done for veteran families and for individuals who need a help up. And it reminds me too, to paraphrase General George Washington, who once observed that the degree to which we recognize those who have served is the degree to which future generations of Americans will be willing to serve, regardless of the justness of the cause they are called to serve in. So I think this is a wonderful testament to the commitment of the city of Tempe to veterans, to the Tempe spirit in wanting to serve, and to our whole community's commitment and the team that came together here to build this wonderful project.
Tempe's Valor on 8th is a reflection of the city's commitment to addressing the needs of veterans and making sure no veteran with family and children is homeless. For veteran Miguel Valencia and his family, Valor on 8 has changed their lives.
When we walked into our apartment the first time, it was just a huge relief was taken off our shoulders, so we just call home.
The City of Tempe is proud to be a veteran-supportive city, I think a lot of you know, and to work within our community with our veterans. We want our veterans and our military members and family members to know that we honor them, and that's why we work so hard to really provide the initiatives in our community aimed at improving their own personal quality of life.
Valor on 8, located near Arizona State University, represents the state's first affordable 5-story housing complex with 50 apartment units aimed at helping veterans with families.
What a celebration in a state that ranks 48th in lack of affordable housing. There are so many more affordable housing units like this that are needed, and it's just a touching day for me to think of these 50 families that have found this beautiful, service-enriched environment in which to thrive.
Valor on 8 was the result of a collaboration with the City of Tempe, Gorman and Company, Save the Family, Arizona Department of Housing, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The project was spearheaded by Army veteran Vice Mayor Robin Arredondo Savage, along with former Councilman Corey Woods.
We researched veterans housings for months. We learned about the state and national trends, kind of what was happening out in the community. We took several site visits, so thank you for all those other veterans housing projects that invited us in, showed us what they were doing. We really do appreciate that because we learned from each and every one of you. And we knew then, after all this homework, all this research, that we really wanted to make this happen. But we wanted a project in the city of Tempe that was unique, and a project that really was true to our Tempe values.
Veteran Miguel Valencia believes the Valor on 8th project sends a special message to all veterans and their families.
The community came together to build something to give them hope. I think would be the biggest thing. Hope is that people actually care and will look at them, they deserve everything that they deserve everything we can give them. They were willing to lay down their life to protect our country, our freedom, and the way of life that we live. And I know that me personally, as a veteran, you know, if I had to go back and lay my life again on the line, I would, knowing that there are programs like this to come home to, that people care.
My words of encouragement are, be kind to yourself first, always. And then you can be kind to everyone, always. And when you're kind, you get everything you want.
My words of encouragement is do what's inside your heart and do it right. If there's something you want, something in life, do it. Don't let nobody hold you back. A lot of times our parents, and even I said to my kids, you know, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. You know, that's fine to tell the kids to do the right thing. But in time, as we get older, then we decide that's not really what I wanted to do. This is what my passion is. This is what I want to do in life. Then go out and do it. But do it right, and do it with an education.
My words of encouragement to a veteran, first of all, you must realize what you have to offer. It is tremendous, and it's becoming more and more important every day, and that's your work ethic. All the things that you learn, showing up on time. You think that is not a very big deal? It is a very big deal. I have to be able to count on my people. So that work ethic. The team, you have to be able to communicate and work with people around you. Regardless of whether you agree with them or like them, it has nothing to do with it. It's the mission. You have to accomplish the job. And that, most military people, all that I've met, understand that as though it was obvious. So you have a lot to offer. That work and stick-to-itiveness, able to think outside the box and how do I solve the mission, how do I accomplish the goal.
You're watching the Veterans Business Journey, where we celebrate the achievements of veterans. Would you like to share your story? Drop us a note at vetsbizjourney@gmail.com. This program was made possible in part by the American Legion Auxiliary, Department of Arizona, and the West Valley Foundation, celebrating diversity.